3, 2, 1, and we're back in the room.
Oh my god.
Can you see me?
Yeah.
Jeez, it's a very different podcast setup now.
You're only coming through one ear in my thing now.
No way.
Yeah, but I'm coming through both on my own.
You can hear me now?
Oh yeah, it's weird. Man,
The
that pound spot.
3 of the 5 slots don't work.
That pound shop splitter we bought.
Still working.
No, that
Kind of.
that it doesn't really work is bad. That it's not fully correct now after all
Yeah.
these years. You know.
Well, all the other equipment's really expensive, except for that
The Zoom was a big buyout
at the time.
at the time.
Jeez, at the time that money was like
Precious.
that, and the money for the flights to Qatar were
Huge.
massive steps for Sika Strength Limited.
Huge. They were huge.
Yeah. Sure, look at us now.
They're monumental.
Yeah, frivolously buying phone stands.
And need to decorate this back wall.
Yeah. Any suggestions for the decorations would be greatly appreciated as well.
It's not saying like that, obviously. It's going
No.
to be different.
We'll definitely have an LED strip either at the bottom pointing up or at the top pointing down, which will change for the mood.
Can you turn you down?
Turn me down?
Yeah.
Is this my mic? There, I'm turned down.
In a shocking turn of events, you're booming, which is crazy because that's
And
never...
I came bounding over. I'm not going to lie, I feel like I've outdone myself on the questions for this week.
Where did you get them? What was the story? What made you think of these questions?
So I thought of one previously.
Yeah, yeah.
I heard something during the week and I was like, fuck it, that's definitely a great question.
Mm-hmm.
Another one, I had a phrase that I was saying in my own head to myself, which made me think of it.
Mm-hmm.
And then the last one I just found on the internet.
Okay.
Right, do you want to kick off or will I?
I'll kick off.
Okay.
So, have you heard of the Ides of March?
Sorry, I was putting on my glasses. I didn't hear you. I'm not even
Turn down
joking.
that radio. I can't see where I'm going. Have you heard of the Ides of March?
Ides of March.
Yes. Why is this significant to history? The Ides of March.
Can you spell Ides for me?
IDES.
Fuck. No, Garth, I have no idea.
It was when Julius Caesar was stabbed in the back.
No way.
Yeah, the Ides of March. Never heard of the Ides of March?
Never.
It's not ringing any
Never
bells.
heard. It's like the Epic of Gilgamesh.
Yeah. Well, to be honest now.
Is it going to be as shocking for people in the comments? People were so shocked with the Epic of Gilgamesh incident.
Yeah. To be honest, no, the Ides of March isn't something I'd be terribly like.
Okay.
If you didn't know what it was, like I wouldn't be like, oh, you retard. You know?
Yeah.
Can I say that? I don't know if I can say that.
We'll beep that.
Like I wouldn't be like, Jesus, you're a stupid illiterate cunt. You know?
Yeah.
I'd be like,
you
oh.
certainly can use that word.
So the Ides of March is when Julius Caesar, when he
Okay.
famously said, "Et tu, Brute,"
What's that?
not you, Brute. You two, Brute.
Oh no.
See, he was, he might have been Julius Caesar's son. Not sure. Like Caesar's
A bastard child.
See, I think it was Pompey, one of the other generals, that was kind of the civil war in Rome happened with Julius Caesar.
Mm.
And they both shared the same mistress at different times, but quite close together.
Jesus.
So it's possible Brute was the last person to stab him, I think, who might have been Julius's son.
Jeez, that's mental.
Do you know a very interesting story about Pompey?
I don't.
I'll tell you.
Go on.
Go on. Seems you've asked. So they were having civil war, blah, 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 not going on great.
As you do.
Julius Caesar was winning, as he was wont to do, as a winner and a genocidal dictator, but a winner all the same.
Come on.
And as a
Give
general.
him a break.
So at the time in Egypt, there was a very young king. He was only 13, and there was some kind of turmoil. He was actually the younger brother of Cleopatra. How she came into all this Roman
Jesus
Julius Caesar
Christ.
stuff. Mad for
It's like all those made up stories just mesh into one. It's like one episode, one series of Game of Thrones.
oh, it's basically what Game of Thrones is.
Yeah.
And so Pompey fled to Alexandria, who were not at any odds with Rome,
Okay.
and he thought he'd have safe haven. But as soon as he got off the beach, they'd have stabbed him and cut his head off. But because they wanted Julius Caesar on site.
Oh.
Yeah, and so Julius Caesar got there and famously was devastated because Pompey was a great general as well, and he was very melodramatic and sentimental, and he was like, oh, that shouldn't have been how a great general died. Just
Yeah.
stabbed him, cut off his head and bammed it and gave it to Julius Caesar.
No way, as a little gift.
Yeah, because the 13-year-old king was looking for a Caesar's favor.
Okay.
Yeah, crazy, isn't it? You'll
Jeez,
notice the
times
team.
were mad back then.
Oh my god, it's so fucked up. You'll notice the team in my next two questions.
Okay. Quickly Google's things to know about Greece or Rome. Okay.
Go on.
Mine are very much sports related.
Yep.
All three of them.
Go on.
I'm trying to figure out which one we'll go with first, but we'll go in order. Okay. In 1971,
I have it.
Apollo 14 landed on the moon.
Right.
Famously,
Yeah.
or infamously,
Okay.
they held a little sports event,
Right.
which they called
Golf.
the Lunar Olympics.
Right. Go on. Go on.
They played a few sports
Right.
that day.
Yeah.
Name two of them.
Okay. Golf and
Do you know what? It was going to be named one of them, but you ruined it.
no, that's fair enough. I'll accept my punishment for being eager. So golf is definitely one of them,
Yeah.
and I'm gonna say it's I'm either hedging my bets on shot put or javelin. So I'm gonna say maybe javelin because they had the flag.
Oh my God, you nailed it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Did they do
a
shot?
makeshift javelin.
Yeah, I would have thought they would have done that.
It was only two sports were played, I think.
Who let them bring a golf club and stuff up?
Imagine the money it cost in like fuel and just general resourcing. to
Those
have
numbers-
that extra weight.
Those numbers are mental.
Yeah.
It's Elon Musk has made those numbers, and I know people hate him. And
Why do people hate him?
well, he did say something yesterday about saying like Chinese workers work so much harder than Americans and stuff. So I think he says things like that.
Okay.
Do you know the way Radker says things like that?
Yes.
People are like, oh, I hate you.
Yeah,
You're
yeah.
out of touch.
I hate you.
So I think similar with Musk. And he was the messiah for a while.
He was.
He
He's
was
still. I'm still not averse to a bit of Elon.
I'm not mad at him either.
No.
But people do hate him now.
Yeah.
Because he's too rich. He got too successful. People
Yeah.
hate that, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, golf and javelin, that's hilarious.
Yeah.
So
Mentally.
funny. America.
Fuck yeah.
Okay. You might know this one.
Go on.
It's a possibility you know.
Achilles heel.
Oh, shit. Change the question. So, the Romans famously never invaded Ireland,
Right.
but they, of course, did invade Britain about twice, and then
Big losers.
Big losers. Huh? Great to see, isn't it?
Great to see.
So, there was famous pirates were, not famously, but pirates were harassing the Romans.
Okay.
Do you know what this isn't the question, but I want to see if you knew this question.
Go on.
What did
Little bonus round.
What did the Romans call Ireland?
Hibernia?
Yes. Why
Okay.
did they call it that?
Because it was always winter then.
Yes, that's the
Nailed
question.
it.
Well done.
Was that the question?
That was the question.
I'm so happy with myself there. It
Yeah, lands of winter. I think it transfers
Yeah.
to.
was because it was just always raining and cold.
Always cold. Isn't that great though?
No, it is great. The other, I think,
That makes me proud how miserable our ancestors
Yeah.
must have been like.
that's as well as like tough fuckers living over there,
Yeah.
just hassling sheep on the mountain.
They wanted to invade at one point when they had Rome. So Julius Caesar invaded Rome once and then went and never came back. And then like 80 years later, they invaded Britain. Sorry, and then they were going to invade Ireland, but the Roman Senate or whatever said don't.
Oh, really?
I don't know why it didn't happen.
Yeah. Thankfully, the Catholic Church just came, the Roman Catholic Church just came and ruined it afterwards anyway.
That was St. Patrick's fault.
Yeah. Those Welsh fuckers. Okay.
Right.
This is a game of two truths and a lie.
Right.
I'm going to name three sports that have been Olympic sports, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you have to pick out the one that wasn't an Olympic sport.
Right.
First one is surface diving, right? 1889 was the first year it was in the Olympics. This is when people would stand at the edge of a pool and they just, as you would at your normal swimming pool, and they just dive in and their dive would be rated for like fluidity and all that stuff, right?
Right.
Surface diving.
Yeah.
Next one is hand fighting.
Right.
So this is two opponents standing face to face on their knees, wrestling with like their hands and shoulders, basically not striking but wrestling each other to the floor in a similar way that we do for a jiu-jitsu warm-up. Then the last one is ski ballet. So from 1960 to 2000, ski ballet was in the Olympics. It was in it only as a demonstrative purposes in 1988 and 1992.
Right. I think hand fighting was the
lie.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was the lie.
I was thinking that. Joe, painting used to be in the Olympics.
And poetry.
Yeah. Ridiculous. Carry on.
Craziness.
I wonder what drugs they took for that. Just a load of beta blockers that are really smooth.
Oh my god.
Actually,
And
acid.
just really solid hands.
No, maybe like acid.
Acid
for
would be
like
phenomenal. Yeah.
or ketamine for creativity.
I suppose as well you'd want like a little modafinil or something, just keep you going, keep you sharp. You know.
Uppers and downers.
I assume it's
You want the psychedelics to get the idea, but then you want the stimulants and the met.
Yeah, it's a funny sport, isn't it?
Get it on the paper.
Yeah, get it down like, and you need a certain level of like prowess and fine motor control as well.
Yeah, so benching probably double body weight.
I'd say you'd want the prerequisite of single arm pull ups for like 10% of your body weight weighted.
For sets of 10, obviously.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was thinking that. Yeah. Maybe body weight
Probably
strict.
want a 5-minute Bronco test. Keep those aerobic values high.
Barbell strict curl of body weight somewhere in the region of that bar. Maybe plus body weight would be good too, you know?
Yeah.
And then the minimum double body weight squat for any athlete in the Olympics,
Yeah.
obviously. You know, and then
Filthy
there's
sport.
smashing through it.
Filthy sport.
Was that your second or third question?
That was my second.
Right. My third question is... Oh my god, what's my third question? Okay. What Germanic tribe sacked Rome?
The Huns.
No, the Visigoths.
You knew I'd never.
I knew you get that one.
Are the Huns even German? No.
The Huns
They're not
are...
famously Hungarian.
No, the Huns were further east.
Oh, were they?
Yeah, yeah.
Over in...
Genghis, I was listening to a lot of Genghis Khan stuff a few weeks ago as well.
Yeah.
But we just didn't really have any, we had no shit talk then, so
No.
all that's gone
It,
from my
it
brain.
really is what's in your head right now.
It really is.
Yeah,
Are you saying for
yeah,
me or
yeah.
for both of us?
No, for me, it's 100% what's in my head right now.
Yeah, whatever I'm interacting with.
Yeah.
The Genghis Khan stuff's pretty interesting. But Caesar, I've heard a lot of Caesar stuff. It's very interesting, the Roman things.
Okay.
Gee, school really make history so boring, don't they?
Geez, they really do.
They actually ruin it.
Like podcast-based history stuff is so fucking interesting.
Yeah, books and podcasts.
I don't really like YouTube-based history stuff unless it's Johnny Harris kind of history stuff where it's like really nice, you know.
I like
YouTube the
history.
long form.
Yeah.
Longer form listening to it.
It's because I had no interest in history in school. Like you.
No, I didn't do history in school.
I did it. I think I did it till third year.
Yeah.
I think
you have to, don't you?
I think you have to do it. Yeah.
But I certainly didn't do it as an elective.
Shocking how they make it so boring.
Yeah.
It genuinely is shocking.
History for me was just one of those things where I was like, when will this ever be useful? Like, when will I ever have a job where I'll have to talk about history on a shit talk podcast?
Yeah, school is yeah, you do have that mindset in school. But you just don't know. They just don't really prepare you for anything in school, do they?
Like,
just in general, like.
I don't know. I don't know. People say that and they're like, why would I need, like,
school
all
could be
the
better.
knowledge of, it could be better.
Yeah.
But like all the knowledge of like maths, physics, applied maths,
Yeah.
scientific principles in general, all that is from school. Like,
Yeah.
how to write.
Does it need to be so long? Do you need so much school?
I'd have liked more maths.
That's so strange. Did you do applied maths?
Yeah.
Yeah, school is America are famously low on those rankings, you know, those
Yeah.
I think Ireland do quite well.
Ireland do very well on the like 18-year-olds leaving school or whatever rankings. A really interesting thing on the US start school really early in the morning, right?
Yeah.
And back in the 60s or 70s, they were doing a study like looking at sleep in teenagers. They're like, as long as the US keeps starting school at 9 a.m. in the morning, they'll be absolutely A-okay. Whereas most US schools now were like 7:30, 7:45.
What time do they finish?
Kicking off. Don't know. Over here, it's pretty much unanimous that it's always 9 a.m.
Yeah.
Never earlier.
Yeah.
Okay, my last question. Michael Phelps,
Right.
famously successful canoe of an upper torso.
Yeah.
One of the, if not the most successful Olympian in history.
I have a bone pick, but I'll talk after.
Has famously won, if he was a country,
Yeah.
he would have won more medals than Mexico
Right.
in his history in the Olympics, right?
Right.
If you were to rank him as the country of Michael Phelps,
Right.
where would he lie? What number would his rank be?
I want to say 27.
35.
Fuck.
So he would come ahead of 97 other Olympic countries
That's crazy.
in the rankings, yeah.
I think the bone I have to pick with that, right,
And here we go.
is that no other athletes have that opportunity. Now, I'm not saying he's not an incredible athlete. Of course, the other swimmers aren't winning that many medals.
Yeah.
So he's without a doubt a phenomenal athlete. But it's not right to call him the greatest Olympian, which some people have.
Well, some track and field athletes have that option.
Not as many events today.
They'll run 100 and 200. They'll run 200 and the 400 relay or whatever, you know.
Look, no offense to any swimmers, like, but they're all the same event, like, do you know, like it's all swimming in the pool, like you in.
It's all running in water, like.
Track. track and field, throwing stuff, running
Yeah.
over things, running past people, running with people, catching things while people are running. Like, so many diverse events that it's not fair to be expecting them to be at the top level. But then he can just go ahead and do another swimmy thing.
Yeah, splash around another bit.
How many does he win per Olympics? Like, what's the story? Like, what? Oh my god.
Oh my god. Just have elevator music playing. Yeah.
I mean, like, is it the most medals is fair, but the greatest Olympian, I think, is not fair.
He's prolific.
What value do you put on one medal? Like, is a medal in race walking the same as winning the
Yes.
60 meters,
Yes.
100 meters?
An
Is it?
Olympic medal is an Olympic medal.
That's true.
You know, like, is an Olympic medal in
Yeah.
trap shooting
Yes.
or archery
It's not.
more or less impressive than the 96 kilo class in
Yeah.
weightlifting?
I think 60 is way more impressive.
But then, is the 96 more impressive than 69s?
Yes.
Yes.
Heavier
Yes,
weights.
it is.
I'm glad.
That's the only one.
Absolutely.
I really strongly agree personally with that.
Yeah.
I just don't think it's as impressive if you're smaller and lift lighter weights.
But then when the lads get really fat, it's less impressive again. It's a bell curve of impressive.
No, I want someone to be around 100 kilos walking around, and the weights to be as heavy as possible.
Akbar Drive, for me,
Yeah. Oh, for me,
a specimen.
for me is very good.
Like, he is. I was asking Seb, I was like, is he as in good shape in real life as he looks on camera?
Yeah.
Because sometimes he can be deceptive, you know. And he said, yes, he's in very good shape.
The other thing as well is, in good shape on camera, a lot of the time you look in way better shape in person.
Crazy, yeah.
I've definitely seen that with athletes where you be used to watching them for a long time, and then you see, like, I remember the first time meeting Miso.
Yes.
You're like, holy shit, this
Gee.
guy is powerful looking.
If people saw Miso in the real life, they would be calling him the Qatari fridge.
Yeah.
Because when you see him in real life for the first time,
he is fridge like.
you're like, holy shit.
Yeah.
He's so compact.
Yeah. Dense.
It's yeah. No, it is true. It is correct to say though that heavier weights are more impressive until you get fat.
Yeah. No, I definitely think there's an aesthetic appeal to someone who looks like an athlete.
Like clay pigeon shooting, not a
Yeah.
real sport. It's not real. Like, it's not.
It
know.
is. It's just I'm not sure if it's an Olympic sport.
Do you know what's incredibly impressive is b-boy breakdancing. They're so fucking athletic.
What?
Have you seen them do stuff?
That's not in the Olympics.
No. Oh, is it? No, it isn't. That breakdancing going to be in the Olympics, or is it?
No.
No. You see the tricks they do, like
They're
air
talking about
flirts.
taking wrestling out of the Olympics
That's crazy.
and beatboxing. No, fucking breakdancing. That fucking beat dancing.
Do you know, people always think of like hurdlers and like 400-meter runners and stuff as being the most athletic. Like, wrestlers are so much more athletic. Some of the shot putters some of the shot putters. We'll put a T on.
A lot of the shot putters are just messy. Like, they are like, if you're wearing a t-shirt
the disc
and your belly wants to hang out the end of the t-shirt,
yeah.
you're not that athletic.
What did Valerie Allman do? Was that shot put or discus?
Discus. Phenomenally athletic.
They're super athletic.
Phenomenally athletic.
But the wrestlers are probably the most athletic in terms. They're more. I think they could be.
The problem is,
Yeah.
you get that wrestler to run a like, if that wrestler's aerobically, which they probably are.
No, see how intense their
Yeah,
training
yeah,
is.
yeah.
If you try to do 5 minutes of takedowns,
Oh my god.
they're so aerobically fit.
Yeah.
And it just hapings the gear as well. Like, see, the reason I think they're more athletic than the weightlifters is just because they have an opportunity to use it for the whole career. I think
Yeah.
you'd find weightlifters the best weightlifters would probably be as athletic. Although, to be honest with you, like, weightlifting is weird because so many of them take drugs. It's so hard to know what's going on, to be honest
They
with
all take drugs.
you. It's so hard to know what's going on with stuff. Like,
Yeah.
you just don't know. Do you know, like, technical nuances and stuff, and like, but all the best lifters bend their arms, and you're
Oh
like,
my god.
you're like,
It's like the rounded back thing.
yeah,
The rounded upper back in the pull.
yeah, and it's for, yeah, go
Like, people are like, oh yeah, this X, Y, and Z does it, you know?
mm-hmm.
You're like, yes, X, Y, and Z is on drugs and you're not. Also, they're so genetically talented and they're actually strong and you're not.
Yeah.
Like, I've yet to have someone say the rounded back thing to me and me be like, oh yeah, you're actually,
Yeah.
you're the same kind of thing that that is, but you're not. Like, you never are.
It's so hard for people to associate good athletes with doing stuff with something that's just wrong, you know.
Yeah.
It's so hard. And it's very hard for us as well to say that they're wrong without people thinking we're being a dick, you know.
Oh, 100%.
It's very hard for us to not come across in a way where we're like, who the fuck are you, bro?
Yeah.
Do you know? And then I understand that. If I heard someone else saying that, I might think the same thing. Like, people make this assumption as well that their coaches are paying attention. unfortunately, that's not always true, and it's not true in a lot of countries where they care that much about their
No.
athletes. And we've seen it in person.
Even in professional sport, like
Yeah.
aside from Olympic sport, like fully professional, highly paid sport,
Yeah.
you think like, oh, those coaches or that sprint coach or something really knows what they're doing.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, no, they probably got the job on clout
Yeah.
because they worked with one or two other good athletes. They got one good athlete at the start and managed to make a name for themselves by the success of that athlete.
Yeah.
And now they're trucking,
Like, and it's really hard to say that without people without coming across as a dick. People are like, oh, who the fuck are you guys? And that's fair enough. Like, I suppose I'm going to argue with that. Like,
No.
I don't care to, but
Yeah.
it's like you see with a lot of weightlifting coaches. For example, Abajay has the most medals,
Yeah.
but no one would think he's the greatest coach ever. And
Most
there's
successful coach ever.
various degrees of dilution of that through different sports. For example, we've seen in Uzbekistan, we saw a very, very good athlete with an incredibly sore injury, and they just left the room because they were so disappointed he was injured.
An athlete as well with a good track record of like it's not some up and comer who's never gone to international camp,
Junior world medal.
Yeah, like this is an earning athlete for the federation. Like he's a valuable asset,
and he's done now, because of that. So it's now I'm not saying everything they do is wrong and stuff, but there can be holes in their thought process or how they do things.
Yeah,
like Miso and his father, they talked about going to different countries and going to good countries and
really good countries,
a couple of them, looking for knowledge, and they were wanting to find out things and finding out absolutely nothing.
Yeah,
they literally said there was 2 countries they said they went to, and they said they got absolutely nothing from it.
Yeah,
2 good countries, 2 countries were world record holders, where they were just like they just
learned nothing, just drugs.
They got nothing from just drugs, heavy training. And that's kind of a lot of stuff, the technique as well. And that's a problem for people who are amateur lifters and intermediates,
Yeah.
It's hard to disassociate yourself with, if that's how they do it, shouldn't you do the same? Because success does leave clues, I think.
Success leaves clues. I think weightlifting, though, is slightly different in the fact where people disassociate the fact that developmental training is very, very different from what somebody who's already achieved really high numbers, like from what they do in their training. Like if you look at Gabriel hit pretty much all-time PB numbers in 2012. Like he's hit almost maximal numbers, career top numbers in 2012, and then he spends 5 years with those numbers, really honing in on everything, making everything very consistent, making everything technically better. But those numbers are the same, they go up and they go down, but they never really surpass those levels. Like things people do to develop in weightlifting are so different from what you see your favorite elite weightlifter doing.
Yes.
And in a lot of other sports, that's not as true.
Do you think other sports defend elite athletes as much as some people do with weightlifters sometimes? I don't know.
Yes and no.
Yes.
I think people get really, really personally invested in the personal lives of team sports. Like,
they do, of course.
Players, soccer players, American football, like NFL.
Yeah.
People are incredibly emotionally invested in those.
Yeah.
But because you don't see their training, I don't think they get as invested in like the training protocols or the way they train,
We saw it with boxers with some of the S&C stuff we react to,
Oh my God, yeah. They were the worst.
I think it's important to remember as well is that, like, from our point of view, we've no vested interest in a particular style of technique. There's no real it doesn't matter for us. We don't sell, like for the armband thing, like
that's the thing. If a change came tomorrow, we're like, fuck, it'd be great. Bending your arms will get you that extra 2 inches, Like, I jump ship faster than fucking anyone if something like that came out.
But there's no vested interest in the technical aspect of it, So it's as well. I think sometimes as well it's maybe people who are less experienced as well.
Yeah, 100%.
Arguing for things.
I think as well, if you're particularly in weightlifting, people get used to they'll use a cue or they'll change. Technically, they'll change something quite minor and get massive outcomes from it.
Yeah,
that doesn't happen in powerlifting, or it doesn't happen in rugby or soccer or football or whatever, Whereas in weightlifting, you change something and then suddenly, like, someone's knees come back out of the way and their barbell comes back into them, and they'll make a 10 kilo PB. Like, they'll make a 10% jump in their PR, and they might have been training for a year or 2 years to try and put anything onto it.
Yep.
And that doesn't happen. Like that night and day magic touch thing doesn't happen in other sports as much.
Yeah, there's very few sports where that happens.
Golf, it happens in a lot.
Yes.
And that's why you see so many fads and so many weird, like the really long putter handles. You'll see people changing drivers every year. You'll see people monitoring club head speed. All these small things, because you can do that Band-Aid culture thing of, I have a problem, I change that, and suddenly that problem is gone. You know?
Yeah.
Whereas you don't. Weightlifting and golf are very, very not unique, because there are other examples of it in sport, but they're certainly in the minority in that case.
Yeah, it's in some ways it's commendable too, though, for people to be so invested in it. You know, it's cool to see people as heavily invested in an activity, you know, that they want to love. You know,
What's that saying? Everyone needs a cross to die on.
I think it's pick your poison and let it kill you. I think is the thing. So it's interesting.
In Sika news, we have a training camp or seminar weekend coming up in London in July. So we actually have to end this podcast right now because we have a meeting about
What time is it now?
It's a couple of minutes too.
Shit.
So thanks very much for watching. Please put your comments down below, and we'll talk to you all again soon.
Shane Hunt will be on the podcast next week.
And maybe another guest, but we haven't confirmed it yet.
Yes. Okay.
Thanks, guys.